Then of course people do have their adverse characteristics, and they will come out from time to time and start to cause trouble. So when these negatives come out, and perhaps that this person is a bit overcritical and a bit judgmental, for instance, these negatives might come out, and what can happen is that there's a tendency for this person here to then want to move over from being their normal positive self and perhaps respond back with a negative response in a similar way to what we see over there. But by being able to see this model, they can actually connect more with over here. For a start, they can see that this person here, these negative patterns of thinking or behaviours aren't really quite consistent with the true person as to who they are. So rather than getting all worked up by them and over responding and coming over to this side and getting involved in an unpleasant relationship, they can then see this as a situation as, okay, well, what's going on here for this person? They're not normally like that. They don't normally behave in that adverse way, so I wonder what's going on for them. I need to talk to them. I need to understand, why are they actually doing that? Why are they doing this thing that's actually causing me trouble? And so the approach is slightly different. Rather than moving over to their own negative side and letting it affect you by becoming more sulky, more depressed, or more angry and overreactive, you see these negatives coming out this way, and you actually respond with your positive self. So you allow your good nature, your caring, supportive side of you to counter these. You need the strong parts of you to stand up and not only stop yourself from moving over here and becoming an angry person or a depressive person yourself, but to stand up to these qualities and say, no, I'm not happy with this, I don't think this is acceptable, but why are you doing it? What's going on? There's obviously a problem here. Is there anything that I can do to help you? So let me just throw this back on you for a sec. Have you ever been talking with somebody, then suddenly they dish out something that is quite clearly a negative, cutting, belittling, perhaps quite horrible comment? They say something really quite mean, quite nasty to you, and you sense this negative coming out at you. What do you do with it? How do you try and approach that? And you can feel it working away at you. You can feel the stress of it inside of you, and you can feel yourself getting angry or perhaps just wanting to walk away from the situation. Can you see that by using this approach here, you have a model that rather than engaging and going down that path, you can rise above it and keep a positive flow and connection going with this person and inquiring with them as to what is it that's happening for them? What is it that's making them say that? Is there something that's an issue now? Is there something that they would like to discuss? And then hopefully you can move into a more constructive way of looking at it. So how does this system work in the real life example of when two people fall in love? Because when two people fall in love, there's a fascinating chemical kind of state that happens in your brain. And I'm sure it's an evolutionary drive that's designed to get two people really close together so that they form a rock-solid bond. And they fall in love, they have sex, they will have offspring, and the bonds of this love will keep them together long enough to raise that child in a state of security until the small child can get up to a level where they can almost hopefully look after themselves. So when two people fall in love, the love chemicals in your brain, they enhance the positives that you see in another person. So their pluses start to look really, really big and strong, and they seem absolutely wonderful. And yet you get blinded to their negatives at the same time. So it's quite incredible. So you see this person and suddenly everything about them seems perfect. And if they fall in love with you, it's the same thing. They think that you're fantastic. And there's probably no greater state of euphoria than when two people fall in love and you have this incredible bond that's going together and everything's connecting, everything feels fantastic. And each of you are blinded to the negatives so that you have this wonderful thing going on. Funnily enough, your friends don't quite see it that way. So if you're the male, your male friends will look at this girl and say, yeah, but hang on a tick, she's not that good. Do you know that she cheated on her last 3 boyfriends? And you, of course, will think, yes, but she would never do that to me. That was all in the past, that was different. And of course her girlfriends are looking at you and saying, oh well, he's not that good, you know, don't you know that he's a gambler and he's an alcoholic and he left his last wife with 2 small kids? And of course the girl's thinking, yes, but he would never do that to me, he's completely changed, he's a wonderful person and we really get on well together. And this is what happens when people fall in love. So you have this fantastic thing going. Now of course what happens is after a while, and it might be 1 year, maybe 2 years, but after a particular length of time, and I think most married couples would agree to this, that the love chemicals start to wear off. Sometimes they wear off with one more quickly than the other, but when they do wear off, then you do start to see these negatives in the other person. And these do start to cause problems, as we discussed before. And if they're not dealt with, they can build up resentment. So one partner might build up a seething inner anger towards these problems, or they just start to have conflicts, so there's fighting that's going on. And their once perfect partner now has blemishes. And this of course can go on, and most of the time with married couples, they're very busy with work and kids and trying to pay their mortgage, so there's a lot going on. It's very hard to deal with all the issues and sort things out. But from my experiences with married couples in all my years working as a doctor, is that it's absolutely vital that people have a good way that they look at themselves and a positive way that they look at their partner. And not only that, they need to have really good techniques of communication for all the millions of issues that come up that are in between them. All the issues to do with kids and money, schools, where to go on holidays, you know, all the million and one things that need doing. If 2 people do not have the good communication techniques there, then this creates friction and creates stress. You can imagine 2 people seeing each other from the mixed bag concept, and they have all these issues and problems. Not only that, they've got these issues as far as the behaviours in their partner, and they have this mixed up, fiery method of dealing with things which creates this awful stress that ends up busting them apart. From the positive centred model, we have a better approach though if the 2 parties can maintain this positive connection amongst the 2 of them.